Hello everyone, it is me, Sonia.elsie here. Welcome to my channel. It has literally not been that long since I filmed a YouTube video and I feel like I've already forgotten how to speak in a YouTube video. But welcome back. I hope you guys have had an amazing week, month, day, whatever. For today's video, I wanted to give you guys kind of an update on my medication that I've been taking recently and just talk with you guys through the side effects, the different things I've been feeling, just the whole process, everything. So this is probably going to be a long, rambly video. I definitely wrote down some points that I wanted to talk about, but this is not a scripted video. So if you have any specific questions, please leave them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. But again, apologies if this video is a bit rambly, okay? I'm gonna try to keep it concise and organized. It's gonna be a lot. So sit down, grab some tea, some coffee, whatever, a snack, popcorn, carrots, water, anything. Sit down and let's just talk about what I've been going through. So if you guys watch my mental health update video, I would definitely recommend that you watch that video first, because in that video I kind of just talk about everything that I've been going through and just like my mental health in general. Everything, I just talk about what I've been going through, and it's again just like a sit down, chill, rambly video, and that will be linked down below. Check it out before this one if you have not. But I did ask you guys if you were interested in seeing a medication update on how the medications were affecting me 1 month later, 2 months later, side effects, anything, process of getting them, answering your questions, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of you guys did express interest in it, and I really do appreciate all the nice comments I got on that video on Instagram. I got some very nice messages as well, and I'm always checking my comments on my messages, so thank you guys. It really warms my heart when people come and like share their own stories, and it just makes me feel less alone, so thank you. And that's really my goal with sharing all of this. A lot of times when I talk about my mental health or talk about things like this, I do get asked, you know, why are you sharing all this? To me, when times are hard or when I'm going through something difficult and I feel alone, I feel like I don't know anyone that's going through it, I don't have any friends that are going through it, I turn to the internet, you know. For example, ADHD diagnosis experience, this medication experience, even just like random stuff unrelated to this. I'll be like, going through this or graduating school and feeling these feelings. I always turn to the internet for experiences and just insight on what I'm going through. So if this video can help someone or can inspire someone to get mental health help or to talk to their doctor or just like, you know, better understand maybe someone in their life who's going through something that I'm going through, then, you know, that makes me happy. Again, disclaimer, I am not a doctor or a professional. I am a random lady on the internet, so please do not use my video or my experience as a diagnostic tool for yourself. If anything, maybe you can be like, I kind of relate to that, maybe I should talk to my doctor about it, but don't use it as a diagnostic tool, okay? Leave it up to the professionals. Again, I'm a random lady on the internet. Literally so random, okay? So random. So I was diagnosed recently with ADHD, and I was also diagnosed with generalized depression and anxiety. I'm not sure like the exact diagnosis of the depression and anxiety, but was determined that I have a fun mixture of all that stuff. And my theory is that the ADHD caused a lot of the anxiety and depression, and that's what my psychiatrist thinks as well. And so I'm just so happy and grateful to be treating all of it and overall to be feeling much better. I was prescribed Prozac, which is an antidepressant, and I've been on Prozac for I think 2.5 months. And then for my ADHD, I was prescribed Adderall, which I've been on for about a month. So I feel like this is a good amount of time to give kind of an update, talk about my side effects, symptoms, all that stuff. I did talk about this in my last video, but just to give a quick recap, when I first started Prozac, I felt like shit, and I felt like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to swear less in my videos, but I felt like a poop noodle. And probably for about 3 weeks, I just felt very zombie-like, dead, upset, sad. It was terrible. It was probably the lowest I have felt in a long time, because normally I am a pretty positive person, even though I have depression apparently. I'm very positive. I feel like I can get through situations. I feel like I can find the good in the bad, but this period of time adjusting to this medication, I felt so bad and just so terrible. And I had another meeting with my psychiatrist, and I was like, listen up, I feel like absolute garbage. And she was like, sounds good, so we're gonna bump you from 10 milligrams to 20 milligrams. And I was like, what the F? But it ended up working out okay. Like, she knows what she's talking about, but you know, at first I was like, listen up, I am dying here. The first few weeks I felt like absolute garbage. For the first couple weeks, I was taking it in the morning. For some reason, I thought it would be a good, like, woo, take it in the morning, start off my day with antidepressant. But it ended up being something that was better for me at night, because I realized that the Prozac made me super tired. I would take it and just like need to take a nap afterwards. And for some reason, they told me that that could happen, but I just didn't think to switch to taking it at night. And so I did, and that improved things a lot in terms of my sleep. So freaking hard for me to fall asleep, and having the Prozac make me tired was honestly a blessing, and still is. I'm like, wow. So after 3 weeks, and honestly right before I started the 20 milligrams, so when I met with my psychiatrist, I still had maybe like a week's worth of the 10 milligram dose left. And when I told her I was feeling like crap, and she was like, we're up in the dose, and I was like, no. Right after that appointment, I really felt a shift, and it was probably a combination also of me going to another doctor, getting diagnosed with ADHD, and then getting medicated for that. That really was a big shift for me and made me feel like 7 million times better. But we'll get onto that later. A bunch of huge things that I've noticed is that I overall feel significantly less anxious. Okay, the way that I was describing my brain, and I think in my last video I described my brain like this. My brain feels like, you know, it still kind of does, but I don't know if that will ever, there's not really anything that can fully cure these. Medication can help, but of course it's not going to cure you, unfortunately. But my brain feels like a computer that has like 20 tabs open, maybe more. Some tabs on Safari, and also some freaking apps open. And all of them are trying to work at the same time, and everything is starting to lag and crash and overheat. That is just what my brain has felt like my whole life. So you can see why I did not know that anything was wrong until I talked to people. So I overall started to feel significantly less anxious, and almost like I could think through situations better. So for example, let's say an unexpected plan comes up in my day. Normally I would be very anxious about it. I would think about all the things that I already have to do. I would maybe even become angry. I'd be like, this is messing up my plan. Like, why is this happening? You know, if changes in my schedule happened, or if things took longer than they should, I would just become very anxious about it. And I mean, I still do, but just refer to had, not as in that everything is cured, but that I feel better. I had just felt like I had no control of time and of my life, and time was just, you know, I constantly had this time anxiety. I don't know how to describe it. And I do not feel that as much anymore. I feel like when things go wrong, I'm just able to like, okay, let's do this, and that's fine. And there's other things I can do. And you know, just situations like that, I'm able to think much more clearly. And just another big thing, I just have the motivation to get out of bed and like live my life in the morning. And that is one that I really struggled with right before I decided to speak to a psychiatrist. Sorry, helicopter. A very huge struggle that I had was just being motivated to start my day. And there were so many things that I wanted to do, but my brain just felt like it couldn't do them, or that there was too many things and I would get overwhelmed. And like, there's just like a shift, and I feel like I'm able to take on life. Like, I don't know, am I a regular person now? Like, is this how everybody feels? I don't know. Or let's say I don't hear back from one of my friends for a while. Normally my brain would go to the worst case scenario, like, you know, they've been kidnapped, they've, you know, you know what I mean. They're no longer on the earth, any of that thing. Like, my brain would just go to the worst thing and be like, this is happening. And now I feel like I'm able to, I don't know, it's almost like I have a better hold on the thinking steps that I need to take in order to be less anxious. It's so weird. I don't know how much of it is the antidepressants and how much of it is the ADHD medication. Like, I really started to feel the shift when I started taking all of them. And so with the Prozac, I feel like the only negative side effect was that first 3 weeks, which is a long time. But after that 3 weeks, after that big push, I just feel so much better. And I'm glad I pushed through, and I'm glad I listened to my psychiatrist and was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. Because, you know, people in my life were like, stop it, stop taking it if you feel like this. And I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna try it, okay? I'm just gonna try it for a month, and if it really makes me feel so much worse, I'll stop it. But, oh, feeling much better, yes. Because I was feeling so crappy on the antidepressants, I did decide to go to a second doctor who specialized in ADHD, and I was diagnosed with ADHD. So that was something that was really interesting to me, because until I discussed it with my boyfriend, I did not think that I thought it was maybe a possibility, but I always just thought that I was maybe scatterbrained or lazy or forgetful or like just low energy sometimes. Like, these were just things that I thought were a part of me. I just thought it was a part of who I was and my body and how my body worked. And it wasn't until really the pandemic when I was forced for months to be alone with myself and alone with working Sonia, and the Sonia that's trying to make YouTube videos and live stream and do all this stuff on her own without the help of other people, without any friends around. Because there was a period for 3 months where I like did not see anyone. I was like, nope, not getting COVID, I'm staying inside. I'm just going grocery shopping, which is like a block walk down the street, and then that's all. Yeah, really healthy. But it was then when I was like, dude, something is really wrong with me. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that having a mental illness or a diagnosis really means that something is wrong with you, and I don't mean to say it like that, but something is different. Like, it doesn't make you inherently flawed or anything. It's just sometimes your brain doesn't quite make the exact perfect amount of certain chemicals in order for us to be happy, productive people in today's society. Because, you know, for example, maybe ADHD would be something that is handy to have in the caveman days, where you are roaming the forest looking for sticks, and then you see a type of berry that could be tasty and you get distracted by it, and then you find more berries, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyways. It was not something that I really thought that I had until I really was alone with myself, and then talked to my partner and talked to other people who have been diagnosed with it or think that they have it, that I was like, whoa. And then I started seeing random videos on TikTok that would talk about ADHD, and it would talk about things that I had no idea were related to ADHD at all. Like, one that I can very clearly remember is this guy, and I wish I knew his username. I just think I saw it on my For You page and just like kept watching, but it was really good. I should have followed him. It was talking about this thing called like the waiting period or something, that apparently a lot of people with ADHD do, where if they have something at, let's say you have something at 7 p.m. tonight, that whole day you just can't get anything done because you're in this waiting period, this like stagnant period. And I just thought it was because I was anxious or whatever, and I was like, what? And then another thing was, and these are not diagnostic tools also, I'm just saying, like, these are examples of like relatable ADHD content that I related to, and I was like, whoa, I should talk to my doctor. But another thing was this woman talking about how a lot of times people with ADHD will eat the same food over and over again. And I was like, holy shit, that's amazing, because if I find a recipe that I really like this fettuccine Alfredo recipe that I love, I will eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for weeks. Let's talk about the ADHD medication, my updates, how I'm feeling, all of that stuff. So I was prescribed Adderall, which is a controlled substance because it is very, very addictive. I was prescribed the lowest dose of it, which is 5 milligrams, and I was prescribed the salts of it. I was also prescribed the generic version because for some reason my insurance only covers the generic versions of medication. Like, I don't know why. And the first day that I took it, I felt good. Like, I felt like, I don't know, I kind of felt like, you know, when you first put on your glasses or your contact lenses, like, I just felt like that, like, okay, I can see better now. And I was able to get so much done, and as I've continued taking the medication, I've learned more like what I need to do to prepare for it, because it is kind of intense. I remember hearing about Adderall in high school and like kids taking it before the AP test so that they could study, and like abusing it and getting super addicted to it. All of this abusing it, snorting it, and I was like, I did not want to be a part of that. If it's something that you actually need, it is incredibly, incredibly helpful, but of course, do your own research and consider if you have addiction that runs in your family, or if you've struggled with addiction in the past, consider those things before starting a medication like this. But yeah, as I started taking it, I learned how to better prepare for it. So a few of the side effects that are really interesting is that you just do not feel hunger at all, but you do need to remember to eat. It's very important, and it can be very dangerous if you are taking that and just not eating. I would not get hungry at all, and it took me, I did not feel hunger for the first 2 weeks of taking the medication. Like, even when I was off of it, because the salts are supposed to last like 4 to 5 hours, even when it had worn off, I was just not hungry. But I still obviously would eat, and I would set alarms to eat. I didn't want to mess up my stuff, you know, I didn't want to slow down my metabolism. I'm still working out, you know, doing all that stuff, so did not want to not eat, obviously, and of course you need to eat to live. But that was something interesting that I noticed, and I noticed that instead of feeling hunger, if I do forget to eat, which would happen, I suddenly just crash, like huge migraine, felt really sluggish. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And then I was like, oh my god, I have not eaten. So your body will tell you in other ways that you need to eat that are not hunger, and it's really interesting. You have to listen to your body in that way. For me, I'm someone who would struggle a lot with mindless snacking. Things like that I struggle with, it has helped me in that way. Another interesting side effect is that at first, for me, I think because it had not been something that I had taken before, there is a come down that feels really interesting. It feels like your brain is just, you just feel dumb. Like, at the end of the day, you just feel like your brain is jello. And so for me, I know now to structure my day in a way where at the end of the day, I'm just doing chill stuff. Like, maybe I've gotten my chores done, gotten the things I need to do done, but at the end of the day, nothing that requires a lot of mental focus. Like, even for me, trying to make a to-do list can take so long because my brain is just like, eh. But I don't mind that, because in a way it kind of forces me to relax at the end of the night, which is something that I'm like a huge workaholic. I just want to work all the time. I'm like, woo. Woo. Another side effect is that if you take it too late in the day, you're not going to be able to sleep. And that is something I struggled with when I first started taking it. Was I'm supposed to take the first one in the morning and the second one in the afternoon. And so I would take the second one at like 6 p.m. or whatever, and then just not be able to sleep. So get up earlier, take it early. If you need to take the second one, you know, do it in the early afternoon instead of the late afternoon. But yeah, that is just the type of medication that I was prescribed. There is a type that is like a time release capsule that lasts for 12 hours, so you don't have to take multiple of them. But I don't know if I will be moved over to that one. So yeah, I have also, and let me know if you want a video of me talking about this because this video is already way too long and rambly, but I have learned to better prioritize what I need to do and just kind of organize my life in a way, or I haven't fully perfected this or learned this, but I need to do more research on organizing my life in a way that is friendly to my ADHD and to me being on the Adderall. So I completely reorganized my phone in a way that made it so that it was easier for me to focus when I did have that, like, you know, focus in my head. My phone used to be very jarbled, apps everywhere. That was not good for me, and it was especially not good for me when I would take the Adderall and just become hyper-focused. Yeah, because you don't magically become hyper-focused on the things that you need to do. Like, oh, I need to do laundry. Suddenly I'm very hyper-focused on laundry. You can also become very focused on, let's say, I'm not gonna say that I did this, but organizing your whole entire Pokemon Go collection and categorizing them, all of them, and maybe spending 3 hours doing that. The way that I organized my phone was that there's a work section and I'm not allowed to leave the work section until I'm finished with my work, and then I can go over to the fun section where there's games and social media that's not work related and that kind of thing. Also just planning when to make my to-do list so that I have a chore to-do list, a work to-do list, a self-improvement to-do list. To-do lists are my life. But anyways, guys, I have rambled on for so long. I really hope that this video can help someone because I feel so much better since I've started medication. I'm going to start therapy soon, but unfortunately there's a very long wait list due to everybody being mentally just, you know, scrambled due to the pandemic, and I don't blame them. I don't know if the pandemic made my mental health worse or if it just brought mental health problems that I had to light. But yes, I really hope that this video could help some of you guys. If any of you guys are dealing with something similar or just mental health struggles in general, just know that you are not alone. You can get through this. You are killing it. You are doing amazing. There is help out there. And yeah, I'm here to give any advice. Of course, I'm not a professional, so please don't take my advice as professional advice. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'm pretty much an open book. Like, you know, I'm happy to talk about most topics regarding this, so don't be shy. Or you can message me on Instagram, sonia.elsie, and I will try my best to get back to you. If I don't see it, just, you know, just keep messaging me, okay? Just be like, hey, just circling through, okay? Just coming by again, Sonia. I would really appreciate a reply. But yes, make sure to please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to see more videos like this, or if you have any video requests from me in general, please leave them in the comments down below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, sonia.elsie. Subscribe to my ASMR channel, Sonia.elsie ASMR. My TikTok is Sonia.elsie. My Bigo Live is Sonia.elsie, where I do pretty much daily streams. Pretty much almost every day, sometimes not every day. And I love you guys very much. If you watched until the end of the video, comment mental health awareness gang, and I will see you guys in my next video. Love you guys. Bye.